It's always fun when lower proof pours can come across interesting. Seemingly lower proof pours can come across interesting with like the spice and the oak and everything, even if it's not for you.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say they were interesting. I've had better. Welcome to the channel, bringing a real-world perspective to the real-world whiskey consumer.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Erin.
And we are back with another double-blind head-to-head, which means we have no clue what we're drinking, but we will smell it, taste it, rate it. Then we'll find out the price and weigh that against what we tasted to see if we think it's good value or not before we find out what we're drinking. We do it this way so you get the most honest opinions possible, separate and apart from any labels or hype or bias. Yeah, we draw these at random from our blind sample pool, which is a whole bunch of bourbons and rye matchups. So this could be almost anything.
Yeah.
And we'll go ahead and get into glass one.
Let's do it.
And I will say, while Erin is smelling this, I would be remiss not to mention, because we haven't in a long time, that if you want to get involved in the Stuff and Whiskey online community, some of our virtual tasting events, or get access to our barrel picks, all of that is through Patreon, which is linked down below. We also have our t-shirts linked down there, and I will have an additional link down there for Kingdom and Will, which is who makes this t-shirt, because every time I wear it on the channel,
People
I get
ask.
tons of compliments and comments on it. They're fantastically made shirts. They're the only shirt I've ever had that has like 48% modal in it, so it's super soft and stretchy. But all that aside, if you are a person of faith who is inclined to wear that sometimes, then you should definitely check out their stuff. Or if you just want a really nice t-shirt, you can check that out down there. Use code STUFF at checkout, get you a discount, helps us out, helps them out, helps you out. It's a win-win-win. Love their clothing, love their message. Check them out down there. What are you getting on the nose here?
Not a ton other than ethanol.
Really?
Yeah, and it smells like it's going to taste dry.
Okay, I can see dry because it does seem to have a fair bit of oak on it. And I'm getting a whole lot of cherry. I'm getting some toffee, some nougat.
I'm getting like oak, like popsicle stick, but not a new popsicle stick, like an old popsicle stick if those exist.
Now, this is jumping out of the glass to me. You saw it real time, first impressions here.
Yeah.
Nothing cut out. This is jumping out of the glass. I will say I have been congested, so I did do a sinus rinse about 30 minutes before this.
Oh gosh.
So maybe the pipes are just clear and everything is coming through with high fidelity.
Maybe I need to do a sinus rinse.
Yeah, this smells fantastic. I said cherry, vanilla, oak, lots of oak.
I'm expecting a lot of oak on this one. I can smell it.
Yeah, let's get into it. It smells fantastic.
Yep. There it is.
Yeah, it is very oaky, and it's got everything from the nose transferring to the palate. Cherry, vanilla. You're not liking the oak? It's got this nice little bit of spice.
It does have a little spice. I do like the spice.
Yeah, it is enough to kind of add some interest to all the sweet flavors. This is like a 3-part glass, right?
Yeah.
You've got your spice that's offsetting the intense sweetness, and then the oak is just very present all throughout.
I need a second first sip because that was like my acclimation sip.
Okay, go ahead and get into it. I will say that for me on that first sip, one of the surprising things is while it seems to be drinking relatively low proof, it's coming through with a lot of flavor saturation for me, and it's making my mouth water, which a lot of low proof stuff doesn't do that. It's not tasting watery low proof, it's just tasting really good, but fairly low proof.
Okay, so this was less off-putting the second sip. For me, that first sip just gets me acclimated to what it is usually, and then that second sip I can actually truly start to taste things. It still just tastes kind of like drying oak to me. I'm not getting a whole lot else, so I don't love it. All I can really say is drying oak. I'm not getting a bunch else.
Yeah, I mean, that is second sip, the predominant thing I'm getting too.
Yeah.
It's coming through. The oak is becoming the star of the show. So if you like really oaky pours, that might be what's in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, if you like oaky pours, it's a good one. I just don't think I like oaky pours.
Yeah, I will say it came through a little less or a little more watery that second time. Like the proof kind of showed itself a little bit more. But even right now, I'm getting an incredible finish on what is seemingly a low proof pour.
Interesting.
So I like that a lot for what it is. Not typically what I tend to reach for, but sometimes I do like this, and this is very good for what it is.
Yeah.
Watch it not even be that old or oaky or
Watch
anything.
it.
Let's go ahead and get into glass 2 on the nose.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Man, these are both.
This smells like they're from the same family.
What are you getting off of this?
Oakiness, but I'm getting more sweetness.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of sweetness though. I'm getting a ethanol, like nail polish remover.
I could see that,
And it smells dry, like it'll be drying an oak. But there's a sweetness in there, and I don't know if it's like white sugar sweetness or that's what I'm getting, I think. Let's go with white sugar sweetness.
I'm getting less cherry sweetness like Glass 1 had.
Yeah.
I'm getting way more of like a caramel butterscotchy sweetness on Glass 2.
Okay.
A very prevalent butterscotchy note. But now that I smelled it like a third or fourth time right there, a little cherry's peeking through as well.
It singed the nostrils a bit.
These could be from the same family.
They smell similar-ish, like related.
Yeah, interesting. Let's get this on the palate.
Okay. Less oaky, like less oak forward, less drying, but there's not a ton of flavor. I'm getting a general sweetness, but I can't pick out what it is. It's just generally sweet, generally light, generally good, but not amazingly good.
Yeah, I think that kind of summarizes it really well. Everything on the nose of this glass also came over to the palate.
Yeah.
There is that kind of caramel butterscotchy. It kind of leans more towards caramel on the palate, caramel vanilla. The oak is prevalent here to me as well, although not as prevalent as Glass 1.
I agree.
The spice element, whereas Glass 1 kind of had those Christmas spice, or not Christmas spices, but like baking spices. You know, your cinnamon, nutmeg, kind of in that vein.
Okay.
This glass has less of that.
It's like kind of tamped down.
Yeah, where the first glass kind of had that spice come through and add this really nice note of interest to offset everything. It's just kind of fallen into the background and not making itself as known.
Yep.
But that was our first sip. Let's get into a second sip.
Same thing. It's even a little bit less flavorful and more oaky, like less sweet and more oaky on the second sip.
Yeah, on that second sip, actually, I just talked about how the spice was kind of falling into the background, and then the spice decided to show up in sip number 2.
Oh, really? I didn't get that.
Yeah.
It stayed the same for me.
But it does seem to me like Glass 2 might have a little bit more of a watery profile, whereas Glass 1 had that little bit more of a saturated profile.
I agree.
I will say Glass 2 is kind of coming through with a little bit of like an almondy nuttiness to me as well, like a real faint nuttiness.
Interesting.
So this is going to be interesting to spend some time. We're trying to give you our first impressions, but we need to spend some time, clear our palates, start with the second glass, go back to the first, and then spend some time comparing them. We'll do that. We'll be back with our ratings and our full thoughts in just a second. All right, we spent some time with them. What do you think? Where are you at?
So these changed for me.
Did
I
they?
didn't like either of them really, but one grew on me.
Which one?
Glass 1.
Interesting.
I will say I can give my scores and then tell you why.
Go ahead.
So I'm giving them both just okay. But I did have a preference to Glass 1 because as it was opening up, it opened up. Like the nose started to smell more like a rick house and less like drying popsicle sticks. And the taste was less drying as I tasted it back and forth. So while it's still not a flavor profile that I will gravitate towards, I preferred it over Glass 2.
Okay. So for me, I agree. As we spent more time with these, Glass 1 continued to open up more. It did get a little rick housey. We didn't even talk about that.
No, we didn't.
Did you say that Glass 2, in the first impressions, it had a little bit of astringency?
I think I might have said that about Glass 1, but maybe Glass 2.
I'm almost sure you said about Glass 2,
Okay.
and that became more prominent.
Yeah.
And the wateriness became more prominent on Glass 2.
Glass 2 became more watery for me.
Whereas Glass 1 just continued to open up. It started to get like fluffy, nougaty, which is a note I think I delivered in the first impressions, but it started to get just like really fluffy smelling, just like this beautiful sweetness and oak, and it just smells immense.
Yeah, I will say the nose got better more rapidly than the palate for me.
I love Glass 1. It is
wow.
it is not the type of thing that I typically reach for on a regular basis, but there are times where I want this type of pour. So for that reason, I'm giving it 2 thumbs up. I think it's a very, very,
Hold
very
up, wait,
good.
what?
I'm giving Glass 1 2 thumbs up. I am going to give Glass 2 a soft thumbs up depending on price.
Okay.
This was no contest. Glass 1 absolutely trounced Glass 2. Not that Glass...
So you have to have a bottle of whatever Glass 1 is.
This would be something that I would want to have around for my lower proof bottle. Like I typically gravitate towards higher proof.
Yeah, you do.
There's just so much flavor in this glass, and it's so complex and interesting to me. So yeah, I'm standing by it. So we've got our ratings.
No, that's fine. I'm just shocked.
You're
You do
Your
you, boo.
thumbs up. You're just okay on
I'm just
both.
okay on both, but I did have a preference to glass 1.
And I'm 2 thumbs up on glass 1 and a soft thumbs up on glass 2. Not that it's bad. It just pales in comparison to glass 1, which I think is hurting it in this comparison.
I agree, yeah.
So
Okay.
in our blind sample pool, let's find out glass number 2 since we both prefer glass number 1. So the price on glass number 2, number 31.
This can't be right. $200.
A glass number 2?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you sure this is right?
I can go ahead. I feel like I can firmly go ahead and move to a thumbs down.
Yeah, I'm a hard pass on that.
I mean, I can see it with the oak and everything. I could see that it could be something that it costs that much money.
No way, Jose.
But I don't want to pay that for it. What's the price on glass 1?
$200. I'm also out on that. They're both thumbs down for me.
Glass 1 drinks like something special, and for a really special bottle, I kind of anticipate paying about $200, $150, $200.
Okay.
So I can't stay 2 thumbs up. I don't have to have that at $200, but I will stay thumbs up.
Okay.
I do think glass 1, it's something special and warrants that. So let's find out what glass number 2 is. Hang on. You're thumbs down on both now.
Yep.
And I'm thumbs down and thumbs up.
Yep.
So glass number 2, number 31 in our key.
2021 Michter's 10-year bourbon.
What's glass number 1?
2023 Michter's 10-year bourbon. They are both 94.4 proof, and this is thanks to Mike James and Nathan Jurgensen.
Yeah.
So thank you both.
We typically don't put head-to-head matchups in our pool of bottles we don't own.
Right.
However, we had a bottle of 2020 Michter's 10-year, and it was terrible.
Yeah. I tend to not like Michter's bourbon. I like Michter's Rise, though.
Yes. But I was on a train of thought.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
2020, our bottle was horrible. It was just bitter oak and not much else.
Yeah.
This is a little thin, a little astringent.
The 2021.
The 2021.
Yeah.
2023, Nathan said that this bottle was astounding. And I have seen...
It is better.
I have seen Jason from Mash and Drum. I've seen the Bourbon Junkies. I've seen multiple people talk about these 2023 Michter's 10 years being absolutely phenomenal. Can confirm.
Phenomenal might be a bit of a stretch for me.
Not for you, but for me. It's
right.
It's got very aged notes. It has an aged profile to it with a lot of sweetness to back that up.
I will say it's
neither
better.
of those are your things.
I will say it's better than 2021 for sure.
You're not big on very sweet things.
Nope.
And you're also not big on heavily oaked things.
Correct.
So this is not for you.
Correct.
And if you're not big on very sweet things and very oaky things, this would not be for you.
I didn't get a lot of sweetness from this. I got mostly oakiness.
Oh, I did. And I'll tell you what, right now, if you're watching this, I am in search of a bottle of this. So if you have any leads on a 2023 Michter's 10 year, I am interested. This is a bottle that I previously said I would never pay. And I'm not trying to hype it up. I'm not trying to, spark anybody's FOMO, their fear of missing out. I might be feeling a little bit of it myself right now.
I feel like you might be.
And look, if I don't get a bottle of it, I'm not going to cry myself to sleep or anything.
Yeah.
But it is very good. And I very much do want a bottle of this. So if you have any leads on a bottle of this, please reach out to me at stuffandwhiskey@gmail.com because I would like to have one. This is really good. Okay.
All right.
Wow. This is really interesting to compare. I think we said these were kind of similar.
I said that they were from the same family.
Yeah, you nailed it.
So
Good
good.
job.
I'm a professional whiskey taster, you guys.
This was a ton of fun. It's fun when you have to eat a little bit of crow on a channel like this, to where we've previously said, well, you stand by. I'm the only one eating crow today, because I said I would never buy one of these releases again. And here's the thing. It is a single barrel, so I could somehow find one through some gracious person helping me out. I could splurge on it, and that single barrel might not be as good as this single barrel.
Yeah.
So that's
That's
one
the
of
game you play with single barrels.
That's one of the risks you take, and that's a big risk to take at $200. This is good enough that I would take that risk.
Okay.
I'm not telling you to take that risk if you run across one, because you might be very disappointed. Like, you might not like this, like Aaron doesn't like this.
Correct.
So it's not for everybody, but if you're into sweet, oaky pours, then this is definitely for you. These are like 94 proof or something.
94.4.
That's wild. Okay, this is a ton of fun. If you liked it and had fun as well, hit the like button down there. Think about subscribing to the channel because blind tastings are what we do over here every single week. And hit that bell while you're down there. Join us on a live stream for a pour. We do those once a month and the date floats around, so the bell does actually help you know when we're going live.
Absolutely. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Be good to each other. And until next time,
cheers. All right, can I have the rest of your glass
There's
one?
There's not much left.
I want every drop of it.
Wow, you're acting like this is like
it's really
the sunset.
Good. It's one of the best under 100 proof pours I've ever had.
It's not a sunset, it's just whiskey.
It's one of the best under 100 proof pours I've ever had.
Wow, can I quote you on that?
Yeah. I'll leave this in so you can know.